Hey guys, what's up? Disney Nuts here. How you guys doing? Just want to drop in here and do a quick video just to say how things are going. And just to say that I know I've been a little bit absent from the parks because I've actually had an injury where I've had a pinched nerve on my leg, so I haven't been able to get out to the parks that often. I know a couple of people have asked and reached out to me and said, you know, why I haven't done any stories and stuff like that. So that's the reason. But I hope to be back in the parks real soon, hopefully this Saturday. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and answer some questions. Let's go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and answer a couple questions that you guys sent me a while back, and I just haven't been able to answer them. There were like 200 questions that you guys threw at me all at once, so I tried to keep up on the Instagram stories. So I'm going to try to sum up here as much as I can, and hopefully your questions in here is here, and hopefully it's answered. So let's go ahead. How many times have you gone to the parks? Well, to be honest, and this is a question that I get asked a lot, how often do I go to the parks? It's actually once or twice a week. Favorite restaurant for Disney Springs? Well, I haven't tried them all, but the ones I have tried, the couple are pretty good. For example, Blaze is probably one of my favorites, and the reason is because I love pizza, so that's probably one of the ones that I put there on the top of the list. But I will be posting a video of some of the other food places there, so stay tuned. A 50mm lens is probably the first lens I tell people to get, and the reason for that if you're trying to shoot something like portraits or something that's got that really good sharp image to it and it's not really expensive, is a 50mm lens. Canon has one, and there's actually a generic brand out there as well, which is a little cheaper. And I have one as well, but I rarely use it because since my style of photos is usually landscape shots, which is where I try to get as much as possible instead of straight on to the face of the characters. That's why I don't use it that much, but absolutely get the 50mm lens. You won't regret it. Doesn't matter the camera that you have or what you're starting with, make sure you just go ahead and start, and that's something I tell everybody. Don't get focused too much on the gear, on the equipment and stuff like that. Equipment and gear is great, but learn with what you have, because that way you're forced to learn the components which make the photo, and once you learn that stuff, then you know what type of gear you want to get. Do you have a day job or you're retired since you go to Disney often? I do have a day job. I actually work from 8 to 5, and I actually work sometimes more hours than that. It's a regular day job just like everybody else. Do I like it? Yes and no, just like everybody else. How do you get to go to Disney more often? Are you an official photographer for them? No, I am not. I go to Disney often because I am actually an annual pass holder. I do purchase my ticket just like everybody else. This year I do have the ticket that has no restrictions, but before I used to have the regular ticket that had blockout dates, and you know, just like you guys, I had to visit other places, which is then I visit resorts and other places which aren't the parks. Favorite ride at the whole Disney resort? I would say anything that has to do with mountains, Splash Mountain, Space Mountain, and Thunder Mountain. Those are all some of my favorites. I can't pick one specifically because I love all of them. At the moment, I do not, and the reason for that is that a couple people have asked, but I have tried to stay away from selling the images because I don't want to get into problems with Disney. I know that's a really slopey road that I'm trying to keep away from, and while I can continue doing taking photos and sharing with you guys, that's what I'll continue to do, and maybe in the future I'll do a calendar or something like that, so keep your eyes out for that. Do you get compensated for doing the Disney Nuts? We love what you do. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. No, I do not get compensated. This is all out of my own pocket. This is only just for fun, and it's always has been for fun. To this date, I have not actually earned a dollar for what I do on the account. Why do you go to Epcot so much? It seems that you're always there. Yes, and the reason for that is that I work very close to Epcot, so getting into Epcot is actually really easy. Favorite snack at WDW? Okay, it has to be the Mickey bar, which is my favorite ice cream bar. It's awesome, and there's just no comparison to it. Sorry. Which park do you think has the best food? I would have to say Epcot, and the reason that you got those pavilions that have those awesome restaurants. For example, we've gone to Les Celliers, which is amazing. We've gone to the Italian restaurant, the name doesn't come to me right now, which was amazing. Obviously Via Napoli's there as well, and we hope to hit all the other ones sooner or later, as Chef La France we did as well, which was awesome. So I would say Epcot, just because there's so much variety on the cultures of the types of food that you'll find there. Who is your favorite Disney character to photograph? I love Snow White for some reason. It reminds me of the old movies that I used to see when I was small, and And when I say old movies, I'm meaning like Super 8, where you had to put the little rolls on the side and pass the film through the machine, and that was something that I'll never forget as my childhood. I remember seeing Cinderella like that also, and if it would stop, the film would get all burned and stuff like that. Top 3 resorts. Okay, so top 3 resorts, at least I can mention the ones that I've gone to. I haven't gone to all of them, so I can't really say which is my favorite, but I have stayed at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, which was amazing. The ability to be able to open up the sliding door when you're staying there and seeing the animals on the right there on the the savannah was amazing. Plus during the nighttime you can go see them with some night goggles, which is really cool. So that was probably one of the most coolest things that we've ever done. We stayed also at the Pop, which was really cool. It had just opened, which was another really awesome. I stayed at some of the All-Star Music sports, and I don't know if I've stayed in the third one, but they're all great hotels, to be honest with you. Just the fact that you're inside Disney property and you got Mickey soaps and stuff like that makes it so cool. So, but if I were had to pick, I would say probably the Animal Kingdom Lodge is probably the coolest one we stayed so far. How do you become one of those photographers that gets to stay in the parks after close? Well, it's funny because there actually there's a video that I want to make about that. There's one that I mentioned a way back about how to do that, in this case Magic Kingdom. It's not really hard to do, to be honest with you. It's just a matter of staying back, and what I mean staying back is staying in the farthest part of the park, and when the park closes you slowly make your way to the front. They won't kick you out, but they will nudge you out. So for example, if you're staying in the Tomorrowland area, as soon as you get out of that bridge and you start walking out, they will put the rope up so you won't be able to go back. But I will be making a video about that soon, so you guys know how you can achieve that. What's your favorite country pavilion at Epcot? Oh wow, that's a hard one because they all have their own little special little things to them. I don't know, I'd probably say Italy. Germany is probably another one, even though I haven't gone to the Germany food and I don't like German food. I guess the pavilion looks really awesome. There's so many details on the walls that it's really cool. So I guess those two. What's your favorite spot to see the fireworks in Magic Kingdom? Okay, wow, that's a hard one. There's so many good spots, but I can tell you that my favorite spot is probably in front of the partner statue or behind it. So you get the partner statue, or you can get the from behind the partner statue, where you get nothing right in front of the view. You don't get any of the lampposts and stuff like that. So that's probably some of the best spots. But I did make a video of some really cool spots of where to take photos of it, which is not at the hub. So make sure you check that one out. Have you ever been to California Disney? Yes, we have. We went in 2014. We had such an awesome time. It's a great park to go to. So I'm hoping to go back again sometime soon. From the parks to Disney Springs, do you feel that Disney's losing its classic feel? Oh, wow, that's a good one. Yes, I would think so. If you're one of the old timers like me, yes, there is certain things that it's lost, and maybe in my case, since I'm there so often, maybe I don't give chance to give air out to what Disney is, if that makes any type of sense. Because I'll be honest with you, one of the disadvantages of going to Disney so often is that there has to be, I'm sorry, even though you say you go every day and you would love it, this comes a time that you need to give it some air and step back and want to be able to desire to go, instead of just forcing you to go every day and say, oh yeah, I go every day, and then be miserable, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, I do feel it's lost in some way its classic feel, maybe because certain of the rides that I grew up with are no longer there, like I said, the Snow White Scary Adventure was one, but yeah, sadly, yeah, I do think so. What's been your favorite photograph to the parks that you have taken? It's actually this shot, and I mentioned in one of my couple videos before, because it was the first time that I was able to take a really good night shot. And like I showed you here, it's the Italy Pavilion, and that was when it just opened up my eyes, like, wow, look how cool this looks. So I think that was probably the coolest shot that I've ever taken, at least in my opinion. Wishes or happily ever after? Happily ever after. I was a little bit skeptical at the beginning, but happily ever after, the amount of fireworks is just insane. Now, the only downside that I have for happily ever after is the projections on the castle, because it has projections, so you have to be in front of the castle to see them, or you can be on the sides. But besides that, I think happily ever after is just there's just no comparison to it. Do you think that Disney should start making more high intensity thrill rides? I don't know. I would say I think it has for what it is. Now, depends what high intensity thrill rides is for you. Now, if you're looking for something like comparing to Universal, then it's just a whole different ball game. And when talking about Universal, they're just two different types of parks. You can't really compare one with the other. Both have their strengths and both have their weaknesses. But as for high intensity thrill rides, I think Tower of Terror is enough. I don't even get on it myself. Do cast members know you since you're there so often? Actually, it's pretty funny because cast members, more than cast members, actually, it's the guests. I get a lot of guests who actually spot me at the parks for some reason, and it's great. I feel humbled that they always run into me and say hi, and like we say, say we love your pictures and stuff like that. And I am really thrilled to be able to see and meet these people. I'm really blessed to be able to do what I'm doing, and I always take a photo with them because it's always awesome to be able to take photos with the friends who follow the account. And the reason for that is that when I started this account, the people who I used to follow, a couple of people would never want to meet up, and it's not only meet up, but they wouldn't like share a photo with me and stuff like that. And I felt like, there's a lot of Disney accounts out there, and you're following this one and another bunch of others, I'm sure. But just the fact that you're following this account and then you stopped me, you said hi, the least I can do is share a photo with you and put it under my account and tag you. And again, it's just fun to be able to meet people. It just reminds me of how blessed I am to be able to do what I'm doing, and keeps me going to take more photos for you guys. Your favorite season by Disney Decor? I would have to say Halloween. And the reason for that, and that it's not Christmas, is I think during the regular, throughout the year, it's magical itself. So Halloween somewhat breaks away from the norm from that, and you got the pumpkins, and you got some scary stuff going on. So I have to say Halloween. Favorite Disney memory, and this one's somebody really familiar. I wonder who it is. I guess my favorite memory is going with my two daughters. Going to Disney, waking them up in the middle of the night. We did it one time. We woke them up, I think it was like at 2 a.m. in the morning, and said, "Get ready, guys, we're going to Disney." And they were so excited, and they were jumping around and stuff like that. And just to see them so excited to go to Disney, and when we get there and their faces light up when they see all the characters that they love, that's just there's just not one specific memory. There's so many of them that I think I guess those would be it. Favorite place time to shoot? I would have to say any park that that sunset's going on, because you really can't compare the sunset at Disney. It's just it's a Disney sunset. How can you beat that? Okay, guys, so that's it. Hopefully I answered your question here, and if not, feel free to shoot me a DM, and I'll try to get back to you as fast as possible. I do read every DM, and I do read every comment. Now, I may be a little slow to respond to them, but I do respond to them. And so I really appreciate, again, for you guys watching this account and taking the time to watch this video if you're still here. So again, if this is the first time watching these videos and you say, what's this guy sitting here doing, answering questions and not doing anything else? Well, I'm usually during the parks, running around taking photos and showing you how to do photos that I posted on my Instagram account. So if you like what you saw and you want to see more of this or the stuff that I do inside the parks, taking photos as well as Universal, hit that subscribe button and the bell to get notified. Until then, guys, this is Disney Nuts saying good night and see you later. Until then, stay awesome.